Is that a process that we're going to hear a lot about in the coming months or year? I mean, is it something that Democrats can keep going back to, or is there a limit to that process?
So this answer is going to be a little bit longer than the one I just gave you.
More than one word.
um, the Congressional Budget Act allows 4 different types of reconciliation bills. But depending upon the type of reconciliation instruction that you give to committees, that can be construed as using up 2 of those in one shit. So they can issue revenue instructions, spending instructions, and debt limit instructions. But if you issue a deficit instruction, that's construed as using up spending and revenue. So, and then you're allowed, one budget resolution per fiscal year. So the budget resolution they're working off of and the reconciliation instruction the House is working off of right now has to deal with fiscal 21. The committees were issued deficit instructions. So they're pretty much one and done at this point with that particular budget resolution. Now, soon to come down the pike in late spring is going to be the fiscal 22 budget resolution. And in that, they'll be able to issue a whole new set of reconciliation instructions. And it'll be interesting to see what they use, given that debt limit is going to be an issue towards the end of the summer. So they might issue deficit instructions to a bunch of committees, but Ways and Means and Finance may get deficit instructions and a debt limit instruction. And they can put that debt limit in with everything else, or they can issue it as a separate reconciliation bill. So that would mean 2 reconciliation bills out of the 22 budget resolution. I wouldn't think that they put it in 2. I think that even if they do a debt limit instruction, it's such a hot potato, they would roll it in with everything else. But I don't even anticipate a debt limit instruction there. So short answer to paraphrase what I'm just
Loaded
saying
question.
is you've got an opportunity for one more reconciliation bill later this year.
Got it. And I want to talk about where this bill is in just a second, but I want to come back to you, Bob. We've talked in the past on the show about this bipartisan group in the Senate and opportunities for them to have influence. If we're looking at other opportunities for reconciliation to be used, which in effect could sidestep that group, where do you see opportunities moving forward that they could have a say or push forward bipartisan reform on any key legislation?
Well, keep in mind that the Senate is evenly divided, and that means that any senator, in effect, has a veto power over the bill. So if a group can have influence, or even one senator, but more likely that a group could, simply by withholding their support, even for a reconciliation bill, exert leverage. Now, that might not happen, probably is not going to happen. I'm not entirely sure, but it probably won't happen in a big way on this COVID bill. Maybe they may have some leverage, but it looks like the Senate may take the House bill and just put it on the Senate floor, negotiating in advance with the House on any changes they might want to make, what's called pre-conferencing, and then pass it directly on the Senate floor without it going through the committees and the Senate, and then sending it back over to the House, which would already have approved changes that the Senate wanted to make. And so, there's, aside from sort of a nuclear option where a couple of senators on the Democratic side would stand in the way of the entire thing going through, and the unlikely scenario that you'd bring across a couple of Republicans, there's not a whole lot of leverage that could be exerted this time. I think that there's more that can be done going forward with the next bill, which is the big one, the president's. But you thought this is the big bill?
This one was big.
This is a warm up.
This is the preamble to the big deal.
Exactly. This is an emergency supplemental to the $900 billion bill from December. What really is lurking in the background is the Biden budget, the Build Back Better program, which is going to be a lot bigger, call for a lot more deficit spending, will probably have some tax increase proposals in it to pay for some of it. It's big, it's huge, it's controversial. I think the bipartisan group of the senators can, if I were sort of giving strategic advice, it would be to really maybe save your ammunition for that one. They banded together and had a big effect on they really jump-started and had a big effect on the December COVID relief bill. And I think they could have a really, really important effect on the budget, the 2022 budget that Tori mentioned.